Good evening and welcome to Pop Go the Writers. I pressed one button too many and got things screwed up for a second. That's why the song took a second to start. But we're going now.
I've got my feet up and my defenses down. Wait. I have my feet down and my defenses up. That's what I meant to say, right?
Yeah. All right. I'm half asleep, so who cares? So, got quite a few different things we want to talk about tonight. I'm going to pose this one. Let's start with this one, because there was this big article on the Hollywood Reporter that came out, and it basically said that Wonder Woman 3 was canceled or rejected, and they're going to do a clean slate break on all the DCU characters, and just they're going to get rid of Henry Cavill. Coming back is not happening. There's not going to be a sequel to Black Adam or any spinoffs. And what's funny is when you read the article,
wow,
there is one bit of actual information, which is...
You're kidding me. I mean, even that much?
Well, and the information is, and the information was not even accurate, but the pitch that Patty Jenkins had turned in for Wonder Woman 3 was rejected and not moving forward. But they made it sound like, well, this isn't what we want to do, so no, go away. Everything else was based off of rumor and speculation.
Sure.
The next day, James Gunn came out and said, look, I've seen the article. Some of it's true. Some of it's not true. Some of it's half true. Some of it, I don't even know if it's true yet because we haven't made a decision. He said, and I liked what he said. He said, look, we're not going to be able to please everybody all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But our goal is to basically do these characters that you love and we love right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Deadline came out.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of narrowed down some of the stories. And the stories were everything from Henry Cavill was not going to be Superman anymore. And the response to that was, there is no current plan to do a clear slate. And it would be stupid for them to do a clear slate because they've got movies coming out.
Yeah.
Why would you say, well, we're going to get rid of these characters and then try to put out an Aquaman movie and a Shazam movie
and
a Flash movie? Yeah.
And Flash, right. Yeah.
And Blue Beetle. And if none of them are going to matter. So
the movie that no one asked for.
Yeah. They're also going to, the rumor that Jason Momoa was going to leave Aquaman but join up as Lobo. And they're like, no, that's just fan speculation.
Honestly, perhaps my most favorite superhero-related news article bit of the year. I love that one. Yeah, he's going to become Lobo instead of Aquaman.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first DC movie to break $1 billion, and they're going, no, we're going to use him as Lobo instead. But the one thing that was true about Patty Jenkins, they had gotten something important wrong, which was she had turned in her script treatment, and they saw in it similar character arc issues that they had seen in Wonder Woman 1984. And this was not Gunn and Safran. This was Michael DeLuca and Patty Abdi, who were still in charge of Warner Brothers Studios.
Yeah.
And while Gunn and Safran are looking over things while Gunn and Safran get up to speed.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that said, hey, this doesn't work. We got some notes for you. And the Patty Jenkins response was supposedly, she ended up sending back a Wikipedia page entry about character arcs and basically said no to any changes, that they didn't get what she was doing, and basically walked off the project. Now, mind you, this was the same writing team who did Wonder Woman 1984, her and Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the bottom line of all that is the only thing that was true is that Patty Jenkins is off Wonder Woman 3. But see, now this is the part that gets interesting to me.
Yeah.
I did up a video, and I was going to put it up on TikTok and YouTube and stuff, and I stopped myself. And the video was basically starting to question what is going on with Patty Jenkins. Patty Jenkins did the movie Monster with Charlize Theron. It was nominated for a bunch of awards. Charlize won a bunch of awards. Patty Jenkins was nominated for a bunch of awards. It was a well-respected movie. She also has done a bunch of TV shows like Arrested Development and stuff like that. She got hired by Marvel to do Thor: The Dark World. Then left it because of creative differences. Because she didn't think she was the right person to do the movie Marvel wanted. That's when they brought in Alan Taylor, and he did the movie, and Thor: The Dark World didn't turn out great, but it wasn't.
I was going to say it's become the most popular Thor movie of them all, right?
Yeah. So I think some people are liking it better now after Love and Thunder.
Ouch.
Yeah. Okay. So from there, she got Wonder Woman, which was actually based on a story by Zack Snyder, and I don't remember who else was involved, but Jenkins wasn't in on the writing of it. Now, she wrote the script for Monster, but she wasn't on the script for 1984, or for Wonder Woman. She then gets announced for Rogue Squadron for Star Wars.
Right.
Big commercial for that. She's also lined up to do Cleopatra with Gal Gadot. And then she does Wonder Woman 1984. Now, if you've seen Wonder Woman 1984, you know it's not a good movie.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard that many, 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 many times. Yeah,
there are some really bad things in it. Some cringy stuff in it that you just go, wait, what? And that was basically a story by her and Jeff Johns. Same team that did this new one. Well, since then, she left Cleopatra. She's now left Wonder Woman 3 after refusing to take the notes. And Rogue Squadron went from just moving along. They actually filmed a introductory video with her getting into an X-Wing.
I remember that.
Yeah. She's reworking the story. Kathleen Kennedy said she's reworking the plot to get it right, or to get it where we want it, to it being actually taken off the schedule altogether. So no word about Rogue Squadron. No one's talking about it.
No.
So at this point, Patty Jenkins has made 3 movies, walked away from 3 movies, and has a 4th one that appears to be dead. So it's more. It seems like she has more movies that aren't happening that she was involved with than are.
But how much of that do we know to be absolutely true, though?
Which parts?
Like the walking away from all these movies.
I have quotes from her saying she left Thor: The Dark World because he didn't think she could do the movie that Marvel wanted.
So yeah, all right. So yeah, I have seen that same thought floated out there just in these last few days, like that she's really in trouble as a creative force because she has all these projects that are now dead, and they threw Rogue Squadron into there. That one, my guess is that there's more to it of Lucasfilm changing course than her changing course. That's how I feel about that one. I think after Rise of Skywalker, everything changed behind the scenes at Lucasfilm in terms of feature films.
But Rogue Squadron was released or was announced after Rise of Skywalker.
Okay, well, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm still kind of going with that because I'm not saying that things changed immediately, like literally that Rise of Skywalker was released and everything changed. I just feel that there's more to it than just that. It is strange, I admit it, because she seemed so excited about that one and that it was a very personal project because of her father.
Right.
That one really, really surprised me. But again, I feel still like there's an element of things have really changed with Lucasfilm's
Yeah.
outlook towards feature films. How many other ones that same thing happened to? There was the what's his name? Ryan Johnson that was a done deal. He's
Those
doing
are still his trilogy is supposed to still be in the works. I mean, as of like within the last month, that was
okay.
said.
See, the last thing I saw was that it's still going to happen, but who knows when, kind of a thing. Well, wait, there was not too long ago they had said that the only one that looked good of moving ahead on was Taika Waititi's Star Wars feature film. I thought that's what actually Kathleen Kennedy actually said in an interview about feature films that was the only one that looked good to go ahead.
I will tell you what I heard, and again, this is rumor.
No, I know, but you're more connected to Hollywood than I am.
What I'm hearing is that Kathleen Kennedy's on the way out. But she's not on the way out as if we're going to show you the door. It's an amicable thing. And what they're going to do is they're going to basically let her go out on a high note with Indiana Jones 5. So they're going to basically, she's staying in charge until after Indiana Jones 5. And then they'll make a transition to a new person and she'll retire and get a production deal. And she's been with Star Wars for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, she was handpicked by George Lucas.
Yeah. So, and it would make sense but they want her to go out on a high note. They want her to go out with Indy 5, which she's producing. And
they being Disney.
Yes.
Okay.
And Kathleen. It's a decision for what I'm hearing, was made. And that they've put a hold on basically moving forward on any movies until the new regime comes in. That's what.
Yeah, I know. It's a hard one to take because it sounds like something that what you hear practically every day on the internet. She's on her way out, and I mean, what do you think the veracity of that one is? Because
of the sources I'm hearing it from and how it's being responded to, and the fact that it's being done not as a firing, it's being done in this way, and the fact that we're not getting anything to contradict it, we're everything, we're not hearing anything new.
Yeah,
nothing came out of D23 new.
Right.
So it does seem to have some validity to it.
Right. Okay, but would you say that idea of her leaving originated with Disney or originated with her?
That I don't know. And
what would you guess?
My guess would be her.
Wow.
If you've been ahead of Star Wars for that long, eventually you're going to get tired. Eventually you want to go do something non-Star Wars, and non-Lucas. Because, I mean, don't you think eventually Kevin Feige might want to walk away from Marvel and do something else?
Oh, I've thought of that more than once, and of course that fills me with dread and fear and loathing, but yeah, I totally get it. But I guess when you're riding a very successful horse, like that, I can't imagine, leaving. But wow, I see. I would have almost said that the idea would have originated from Disney, and that they want to, put the blame for the sequel movies on her. But you know what? If I was her, I would say yeah, but Mandalorian. I know Book of Boba Fett is criticized, but Mandalorian and Andor especially as big successes. You know.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that they might be taking a page out of Kevin Feige's playbook,
Mm-hmm.
which is what the fans didn't like something, double down on it,
Mm-hmm.
make it more important, make it better,
Mm-hmm.
make it really important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of the shows going on right now seem to be kind of working on making the rise of Skywalker make more sense.
Yep. That's
The
very,
whole
very
cloning
true.
thing, and
Yeah. Well, not only that, but the prequels
yeah,
is another thing where it's like, let's make these just such a part of Star Wars that no one's ever going to be able to deny them.
oh yeah, Dave Filoni's been doing that for years with the animated stuff, and now he's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
The fact of what he's been doing.
Yeah, let's take Grogu, one of if not the most popular Star Wars thing to come along in years and years and years, and set his origins smack dab right in the prequels. And there's just no denying it. He came out of the prequels, and that's that.
He came out of the prequels, but he's also the key to Palpatine's cloning.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah.
So
yeah. Let's not just make him part of the prequels, but part of the sequels too. The sequel trilogy.
Exactly.
Too. Yeah, great point.
Yeah. So I think that's what they're doing, and I don't necessarily think that. I don't think her leaving would be a bad thing. In that, I think it might be going, like I said, going out on a high note.
Yeah.
Andor, Mandalorian, and then Indiana Jones 5.
Well, our initial look at Indiana Jones 5 is, it looks pretty good, and I don't think I've seen much negativity about it. It seems to me that people have pretty much said, yeah, all right, tell us more.
I've seen some negativity, but it's been more like,
of course,
who asked for this? I'm like, well, shut up. Obviously, somebody wanted it. And I'm hoping that it's going to be like a Star Trek thing, where the odd number ones are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, right. We're due for a good one, aren't we?
Yeah, because Temple of Doom does get panned a bit for being so dark.
Yeah.
It's still a good movie, but it gets panned a bit for being dark. And then Kingdom of the Crystal.
What we necessarily wanted at that moment in time. I remember the feeling of watching that in the theater and going, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then Kingdom of the Crystal Turd just yeah, I
need to rewatch that. I need to do a personal reassessment of that one.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I don't remember being. I think I only seen it once all the way through, and that was when I went to see it in the theater the first time. I don't remember walking away. I didn't have an Attack of the Clones feeling, from it necessarily, but I think maybe it's time to reevaluate it.
Well, I've got the box set behind me, and I plan on rewatching all of them before the movie comes out. But
yeah. Oh, it has Crystal Skull in it.
I believe so. Yeah, I think it's a 5. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's the Complete Adventures, which means it probably doesn't have the TV show.
Yeah.
But it's got Raiders,
mm-hmm.
which they now call Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's right. That's because that's what it should be called.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Huh? Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and then a bonus feature disc.
I hate to tell you this, Dan, but it's going to be the incomplete adventures of Indiana Jones because it won't have the new one in it.
True, but it's a very nice little book set.
Yeah,
it's got really nice little images inside.
Yeah, I gotta get that one.
Yeah, and it wasn't that expensive on Amazon. I was actually quite pleased with it.
It's a shame that they can't have those on Disney Plus.
They can't?
They're not on Disney Plus, no.
Wonder why.
I don't know, whoever the heck owns them,
Yeah.
I mean, well, I assume Lucasfilm at least partially owns them, but
Oh,
they're
they've got a deal. They got a deal with Paramount.
yeah, see, that's what it is. Yeah, right. They're Paramount. Yeah, there's Paramount's probably gets to have them for a certain amount of time. It's like the Marvel Netflix shows. At some point,
Yeah.
they'll revert.
Yeah, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
It's like I'd love to see the Young Indiana Jones adventures on Netflix or on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Paramount's got their own channel. They probably want to keep it on there for a while. So, but you like the trailer, huh?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Jay says wonky de-aging aside, I'm not so sure I saw any wonky de-aging.
They do de-age him, but they don't de-age him to 56. They de-age him to 70. Because Harrison Ford's in his 80s now, and they de-age him to look 70, so it doesn't look as bad.
Oh, I see what you mean. I was thinking about the scenes where he looks like he did in, Raiders of the Lost Ark or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't really they de-aged him to a little bit.
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I've watched the trailer how many times? I'll have to watch it again. I didn't think anything was quote unquote.
Yeah, nothing jumped out at me as wonky, but perhaps
no, in fact, like in that last scene where he's cracking the whip and then they focus in on him and he's, I thought, of course, here's me going, wow, does he look old?
Yeah, I do like that scene though, because it's kind of the reverse of the guy with the scimitar.
Yeah, very much so. In fact, I was actually saying something like when somebody was saying something about his age, it might even been to you, where I said, well, if he looks good still with the whip, he can still do that, then that'll convince me. And so what do? They put a really great scene in the trailer. I mean, I'm really, whack, whack, whack. And then, of course, they shoot at him.
Jay says the scene when he's on the horse is that. Okay. I would think de-aging on moving horse would be very difficult.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's that they took his head and stuck it on somebody, the stunt person's, body, because I don't see him flying Harrison Ford flying a plane. Yes, Harrison Ford riding a speeding horse. Maybe not so much.
Crashing a plane.
But you know what? You gotta have stuff like that. I mean,
my favorite Harrison Ford story is him. Is this guy who got lost on the mountains in Montana, and the survival helicopter comes in to pick him up, and he climbs up into the helicopter. He gets in, and it's Indiana Jones flying the helicopter.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What the hell?"
That's a story to tell your grandkids.
Oh yeah, yeah. So
I enjoyed the trailer quite a bit. It went a long way to making me look forward to a movie that I didn't necessarily look forward to, that I knew I would see.
Yeah.
But now I said, oh, this looks kind of fun, and this, that, and the other thing, and Sala is in it, and
that's the one that got me. To have him back in it.
So this new character is his goddaughter, right?
Uh-huh.
Do we know who she's the daughter or granddaughter of yet?
I don't, but if I had to make a guess, it would be his buddy that ran the college, Denholm Elliott's character.
Yeah, Brody.
Yeah.
Or Brophy, or no, it's Brody. Marcus Brody. Okay, that was my second thought. My first thought is that it's Sala's granddaughter. Because he's in the movie, because those would be the two characters that I could see turning to Indiana Jones and saying, "Be my," or I doubt if it's a daughter of one of those, but a granddaughter. The Godfather for them. I think it would be fun if it was Sala for that matter.
The only reason I think they're going to make it Brody's because it's a way to bring his character back.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. There was the nice thing I think it was in Crystal Skull where there was a photo of him either up on the wall in his home or on his desk or something of that, which was a nice nod to that. And I'm going to be very, very much looking forward to seeing how they handle Marion.
Yeah.
In this, it'd be so nice if it was some like a cameo or something, but they have to deal with it.
Yeah.
That, and I hope to God it's not a Han Solo and Princess Leia situation where, a few years later, then they get divorced.
Yeah, God, that's the reason I don't like the sequels, is because they took away our happy endings.
Hey, this is so funny. One of my Facebook memories came up just the other day, and it was at a point where we knew almost nothing about Phantom Menace. And I had this big, long thing about, I would like to see that if Han and Leia are not together, that Han went back to the life that he knew, and he was out there smuggling and doing this or that. And it was so funny because it was almost beat for beat what really happened.
Yeah.
The only thing in there, it didn't say anything about their son, because we didn't know anything about that at that point. But it was just so funny that it was like, yeah, I could totally see him not being able to roll with that life anymore, and then going back to his old life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. I know more and more and more. I'm in the camp of that an actual reunion between the three characters was squandered. I'm glad that we got Leia and Luke together, and I'm glad that we got Han and Leia together. But that it's a crime that we didn't get all three of them together.
Yeah. Yep. And there was, personally, I wish they would have not had any of the characters. Because it would have been nice for them just to leave their happy ending alone.
Mm-hmm.
We could have mentioned them, or we could have just ignored them. They could have moved it far enough in the future that all of them would have been dead anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't see why they needed to take away everybody's happy ending. And that's what happened. Luke never got to build his Jedi Academy. Or what he did got destroyed. Leia and Han didn't work out. Their son turned evil. Nothing. Did Chewie get a happy ending? No, he loses his best friend.
Right.
Yeah, the whole thing is just...
We're still going to have this conversation one day on a larger scale.
Yeah, and Kylo Ren was such a horrible villain.
I can't agree. I don't agree with you with that one.
He was a whiny little goth kid.
That's exactly what he was supposed to be, right?
Yes,
which he was a Darth Vader wannabe. And there's a story in there when you have a grandfather like that, but you're very, very immature person, so you're very, very evil, yet very, very immature. And therefore you're just a holy terror. That's exactly what he was. He was supposed to be a holy terror because he just couldn't handle maturity.
But he wasn't. He was just a whiny little bitch. That's all he was.
Okay.
And Luke was just, they knew he was a whiny little bitch. And somehow Palpatine's returned.
Uh-huh. Well, how else should they have handled that? Wait, are we having this conversation or not?
No, we're not. We're not.
All right.
But we will soon. We will soon.
That's because you're afraid to, because you can't handle the truth.
I can't handle those movies.
All
right.
Watch it over and over and over again and embrace the dark side. Last Jedi, one of the best Star Wars movies ever. It's 3/4 of the best Star Wars movie ever.
They're all going to they're all going to show up. They will. They'll all show up. Yeah.
Oh, hey, wait, they even, you know what, just like what you were saying, they even try to justify Canto Bight because they mentioned it in Andor. I love it. And I don't like that whole part of that movie. I just
Dave Filoni's job in life is to fix the prequels and the sequels. It's all he's done. It's been the major goal of his life. He probably watched and went, "Oh, it's Star Wars. I love. What do you mean you don't love it? Oh, I'll fix that."
My expectation that there's going to be dialogue or a scene in Ahsoka that totally justifies the Force ability to fly through space and rescue yourself from the cold vacuum of space. There's
I,
totally going to be a scene like that, and then that pretty much will cover everything that people hate.
I just want to understand how she rammed a ship through hyperspace into another ship, because that's not supposed to happen. They broke their own laws of physics.
It hadn't quite gone into hyperspace yet. That was just the run up to it. That was a good scene. You got it. Sometimes you just have to drop the suspension of disbelief and just go with it.
No, you don't drop the suspension of disbelief. You need a
Not
ton
in
of
Star Wars.
suspension of disbelief.
Star Wars is not science fiction. It's
fantasy.
Science fantasy.
It is. I will give you that.
Yep.
Star Trek is science fiction.
Yep.
Star Wars is science fantasy.
Yep.
Yes.
That's why you can't compare the two. Apples and oranges.
Yeah. Oh, you can compare them.
They're not even in the same family of fruits.
Oh, there are ways you can compare apples and oranges. Throw them at somebody's head. You can compare how they hurt. Yeah. There are ways to compare things.
No, you could kill somebody with an apple. It'd be hard to kill somebody with an orange.
But it'd be fun to try, wouldn't it?
How do we get to these moments, Dan? How do we get to them? I'm racing back through this conversation and trying to see where we went wrong and where. Yeah. Okay. What's next on
Subject number two.
Okay.
I saw a cool animated film this morning. And what's funny is I've had it on Blu-ray for a while. I think I've got it here somewhere. And I've been waiting to watch it. And it's Green Lantern, Beware My Power.
And that's a direct-to-disc?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's part of their new universe. Now, they're not talking a lot about it, but this is a connected universe. But it's not all the animated movies. What you want to do is on the end of each film, see that little thing at the top?
Oh, yeah.
It spells out DC Universe.
Yeah.
So if it's on there, then it's part of it, where something like Catwoman Hunted does not have it.
Oh.
So even though they came out around the same time, this one is not part of the current DC universe. So this was like Superman Unbound, the Justice Society one that came out.
That's one I was going to ask about. Yeah.
Yeah, those are all connected.
Yeah.
And they use the same actors.
What about Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders?
That's Adam West.
Yes.
And William Shatner, which was brilliant casting.
Yes, I know.
But this is Aldous Hodge as John Stewart Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. Aldous Hodge, of course, just played Hawkman in Black Adam. Mm-hmm. But it has Sinestro, it has Green Arrow, it has Hawkwoman, and it's bringing these characters together because they haven't met in this new universe yet. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it also has one of my favorites, Adam Strange. And it kind of adapts a couple different graphic novels, or not graphic novels, but story arcs from different places. And one it pulls, I won't say one of them because it's kind of a spoiler, but one of the ones it pulls is one of my favorite DC story arcs, which was called Planet Heist by Andy Diggle and Pascal Ferry.
Vaguely know of it.
Planet Heist was basically Adam Strange is on Earth. He's trying to get back home to his wife and child on Rann, and the Zeta beams aren't coming. And he can't figure out why.
Yeah, that can be a real pain when that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and when he figures it out and gets back to Rann, he discovers just a debris field, like the planet's been destroyed. But through his his detecting, he discovers that it wasn't the planet Rann. someone had teleported, ran away, and put in this debris field. So that's why it's called Planet Heist.
Maybe that happened to Alderaan.
No, that wasn't a Zeta beam. That was a big ass kill beam.
But maybe at the very last second somebody transported it away and okay.
I think we would have seen it by now. I'm
Not
sure Poe
necessarily.
Dameron would have said, and somehow Alderaan survived.
Damn it, you beat me to it. Ugh, I got to be quicker next time. Here's my big question about this Green Lantern movie. Is Alan Scott in it, the one true Green Lantern?
No, Alan Scott's not in this, but he is in the Justice Society one.
I know, but is Hal Jordan in this one?
That would be a spoiler.
Oh, okay. Do they cover the thing that time where Jon Stewart destroyed an entire planet?
No.
Okay.
Because this is him just getting the ring for the first time.
You remember that story?
Yes.
Yeah, and I love it because that became a big part of Jon Stewart's character for years and years after. Yeah. I love that they never forgot that he had to deal with that for years to come, that he destroyed the planet. It was a Cosmic Odyssey.
Yes.
Wow, did I pull that one out? Nice. Yeah, drawn by Mike Mignola.
Yeah, I was surprised just how good this was. Mm-hmm. I love the characters. I love the artwork too. They're doing this thick line weight on the characters that make them really pop. So it has this unique art style in these animated stuff.
Is it? I don't even know anymore what animated stuff is. Is it cell animation or is it computer animation?
I don't know.
I don't know if anybody does actual cell animation anymore in these things, or if it's just that it's still flat, but it's actually computer animation. Like, what's The Simpsons these days? Is that cell animation?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Somebody out there would do a full-blown Green Arrow movie. Mm-hmm. I would love to see the DCAU do a full-blown Green Arrow movie. The only thing I'd like more is if they let me write it.
Well, to do a Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
Green Lantern, Green Arrow would work.
Yeah, hard traveling heroes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they do a few things in it that's a little surprising. Mm-hmm. A couple character deaths that you're like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
what's the rating on it?
There's some kills, so I would say it's PG-13.
PG-13. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So swearing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there's swearing immediately.
First scene swearing.
First scene swearing. Yes.
Wow.
Because it starts off with Stewart in the war.
What's the runtime on these things? Is it like a feature length?
I think they're like 90 minutes or more.
Okay.
I don't know. These always have such tiny little writing on these discs.
Yeah.
Hey Jay, look it up in. Can you look it up in the?
Okay, I'm just wondering, how, because it's funny. That's what like a kids movie used to be, but this is not necessarily a kids movie.
It did feel short.
Yeah.
I don't know. Jay's one of my producers, so I do that to him during the show. That's why I'm like, hey Jay.
Oh, okay.
Jay produces my Tuesday show.
Okay. I will never make fun of him again.
But yeah, so they've done some really good stuff that's part of the DC animated universe. But it starts with Superman Unbound, Superman Man of Tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where they started the artwork too. And the Martian Manhunter in there, the same is the one that's in here too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Vixen and Martian Manhunter have cameos, stuff like that.
Justice League Detroit.
Yeah, though this is up on the satellite.
Oh, okay.
It would have been cool if it was in Detroit and Johns was eating Oreos or Chocos. Excuse me.
Vibe is, yeah, right. It can't be Oreos, right? Vibe is not in this one then, right?
No.
Too bad.
No, they do bring a lot of characters into it, though. But the fact they brought in Adam Strange just made me very happy. That's another character that I would love to write. because it's like, how do you describe Adam Strange? He's DC's John Carter.
Kind of, sort of, kind of.
Which part isn't?
Well, that John Carter is on a more or less sort of primitive planet, and Adam Strange is like
More of a
higher
technology.
technology, but you're right. Yes, and like how he gets to there, and that he gets a girl there and becomes the champion of that planet. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that when they created the character, they went, "Fuck it, we'll just make John Carter." We're gonna give him a code name? No, it'll just be Adam Strange.
Let's see. Adam Strange was probably either Gardner Fox or John Broome.
I knew this.
Both of which would have roots in science fiction, so they would absolutely. I'm betting it's either Gardner Fox or John Broome.
Gardner Fox, Julius Schwartz, Murphy Anderson, and Mike Sikowski.
Yeah.
And the most interesting connection there is actually Julius Schwartz. Julius Schwartz, before he became an editor for DC, worked at a company basically as an agent promoter for authors, and knew guys like.
Yes, he did.
One of his biggest clients was H.P. Lovecraft. And when they came up to making Ra's al Ghul, 1 hour and 15 minutes. Thank you, Jay. So it's 75 minutes.
Yeah, that's short.
Yeah. But when Ra's al Ghul came, Ra's al Ghul is one of the most Lovecraftian names of a villain ever. And that was Julius Schwartz's contribution with Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams on that.
Wasn't Ray Bradbury one of his clients?
I believe so, yeah.
I think that's right, yeah.
Yeah, basically all the sci-fi and horror writers of the time were going through this company, and Schwartz worked for them. Then he went over to DC.
It's been a long time since I read his book, Man of Two Worlds, Julius book. But yeah, it seemed to me that Bradbury was a client too. Yeah, an incredible story. Yeah, I mean that he did all those things before he was at DC.
Yep. So you can see all the influences. So having somebody like Adam Strange based on John Carter of Mars makes a lot of sense. It's a very similar story. They just, and I love how over the years they've tied Rand into Thanagar and then led into the Rand-Thanagarian War. Planet Heist was actually like a prequel for the Rand-Thanagarian War.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I love the idea of a mystery in space. You know who else shows up in it?
Mystery in space.
But the Omega Men.
Who?
The Omega Men show up in it as well.
Oh, speaking of Lobo.
Yeah.
That's funny. But Lobo does not show up in it.
No.
Okay. Hal Jordan aside, we won't talk about Hal Jordan. Is the whole, like, the Green Lantern Corps represented in the film?
It is represented. I will put it that way.
Okay. All right. It's another one of those areas that we can't talk about. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Do you have HBO Max?
I do not. No.
Because it's on HBO Max, and I would definitely watch it for you. But
I have a lot of trouble with today's animation that I don't.
Let's just say it borrows another event from another Green Lantern's life.
Oh, got it. Yeah, when you say something like that, there's only one door to open there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay.
Yep. All right. So
is Guy Gardner in it?
No Guy Gardner.
Oh.
We do sort of see Tomari.
What about there's a robot Green Lantern that I always like. Tomari. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But we get Hawk Girl, Shiara.
Or Hawk Woman.
Yeah, Hawk Woman.
Yeah.
But she never identifies herself as Hawk Woman, just Shiara of the Thanagarian.
Okay.
Because she hadn't even been on Earth at that point.
Wait, did you say Hawk Man is in it?
No.
Okay.
No. Hawkman in Black Adam is the voice of John Stewart.
No, right. No, I got that, but I just wondered if the character would.
No.
There was a day where you didn't have Shara in anything without Hawkman, but now that they've almost completely separated the characters, where she's just her own thing now.
Yeah.
And you don't have to. It's not always Hawkman and Hawkgirl or Hawkwoman.
Yeah,
that's cool.
They'll probably bring it back around again, depending on.
Why did you get it on disc then?
Because I love these things. I get all the DC.
Okay, all right, cool. No, hey, I'm totally behind that idea. I buy books. I don't get books I don't get audio books. I buy books because I like books.
If I like a book a lot, I will buy it, but I do listen to it on audio first. It's like for the Star Wars High Republic, the first book. I liked it so much, I bought a hard copy of it because I wanted it.
I am reading Star Wars, The Princess and the Scoundrel right now.
Nice.
Speaking of Han and Leia, I know I keep going back to Star Wars. Sorry, but I am reading that right now, and it's pretty good. It's basically just a romance novel in the first few chapters, but I have a feeling there'll be some action and adventure coming up.
Yeah, Jay collects them as well. Have you read Chuck Wendig's Star Wars series Aftermath?
I have to be careful, right? Because you're friends with him, right?
Who, Chuck Wendig?
I thought you were friends with somebody I know is friends with him, I think. No, I read the very first one and absolutely hated it.
Okay.
It's like that's the bottom of the barrel of Star Wars. I couldn't read anything past that one. I hated that book so much that I've read a lot of Star Wars novels over the years, and some of them I didn't care much for, but that one was just.
I can understand why you would dislike it because it is a very different writing style.
Yeah, that's part of it, but yeah, that was just. Yeah, that I kept noticing that, and it kept taking me out of what was going on over and over and over and over again. No, my favorite Star Wars writer is James Luceno. He wrote the novel called Darth Plagueis.
Okay.
Which is basically the origin of Palpatine, and it's just a really wonderful novel. All the ones that he's written are so good. He wrote a Star Wars novel that ties in with Rogue One. That's really good. And
yeah.
The name of it I can't think of off the top of my head, but he's probably my favorite Star Wars writer. And you know who else is good is Claudia Gray.
Cool.
Yeah.
I haven't read that many Star Wars books. I was listening to it for a while, but when Tone Rodriguez and I used to drive to conventions like in Texas and stuff, we started doing audiobooks, and I was picking up Star Wars ones because we could agree on those.
Yeah.
So I listened to a few then, but I haven't listened to that many, and I don't get a chance to read much, so I listen, especially like when I'm crocheting or something. I could put a book on.
Here's one that I can recommend. The before this one I'm reading right now, I read I think it's called Shadows of the Sith. It's the story about that in Rise of Skywalker, Lando mentions that he and Luke had searched for the Sith Wayfinder however many years before that. And this novel is that story, and also about how what happened to Rey's family, her parents, and the relationship with Palpatine and all of that. I can't think of the writer's name, but that was very good. I can recommend that one.
I did like the Aftermath series. I listened to all three of them, and I'm a big fan of a character named Mr. Bones, which is the B1 robot turned. Yeah,
I sort of remember that from that.
He gets better and better, and if you listen to the audiobook, his voice is like, Roger, Roger, I will kill them all. No, we don't want you to kill them all.
Great.
And the kid that built Mr. Bones ends up in the sequel series. He's the slightly heavy-set pilot of the X-wing. I can't remember his name, but he's played by the guy that used to be on Heroes.
Oh, you're talking about Snap Wexley?
Yeah, it's
That's Greg Grunberg.
Yeah, Greg Grunberg's character is in Aftermath. He's the young boy who built Mr. Bones.
Boy, I don't remember that at all. Okay.
Yeah, because he becomes with Wedge.
I know him from Alias.
Yeah.
That's I think where he first, got a name for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's very, I like that character in the movies. It is.
Yeah. All right, we need to switch topics because we've only got about 10 minutes left.
Well, if you would just stop going off on tangents, we're going to start calling them dangents.
You were worried we weren't going to have enough to talk about tonight. So, Willow, I gotta say that I was a little disappointed with this episode.
Thank you. Yes.
It was freaking dark. It was really dark, the fight scene, and hard to see.
Yes, it was. It wasn't just dark. It was really, 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 really dark to the point of I'm still not sure exactly what happened, and it took away some of my enjoyment of that episode. Yeah,
I agree with you on that.
Yep. Things dropped down a notch for me. I'm still enjoying the show, but
yeah, it felt kind of like a running in place episode. And there was a lot of silliness still.
Yeah. That was the two things that brought it down for me. Is that rein in that humor a little bit. I get it. You got a vibe going here, but it was more or less pointless and way too much. And then all that stuff in the dark, where again, it's like, there's the whole scene with Borman and Kit, and then there's everybody else, and then somehow those two scenes are suddenly like they meet up, and it was like, wait a minute, how did that? Were they there the whole time?
Yes.
Okay.
That I understand because they went to that spot because Borman was looking for something.
Yeah.
Then the guys who had Elora stop there because they see these horses out in the open because Borman and Ket left their horses out there, and Willow had that vision, so he was following Elora. Yeah. So that's how they all ended up at the same place.
Okay, I didn't get that. And you know what? And again, it really took a lot of the punch out of Willow's friends. Spoiler alert: death.
Silas?
Is that his name?
I don't know because Paul Silas also died today. The NBA coach.
Okay. Whatever his name was. I mean, otherwise it was, that was done well. I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, somebody said, "Oh, it's because the fight choreography is so bad that they just wanted to hide it all or something like that." You know what my theory is it's this whole thing about modern filmmakers look to the productions of the past and they see all of the unnatural lighting that is like impossible lighting. Like there's lights that come from places where there shouldn't be lighting so that you can see things, it's a film. And they say, "Oh, well, we're too modern to do anything like that at all. We have to have it real. So we're not going to have any lighting whatsoever. And it'll be great. It'll be like everybody will know what's going on just from the sounds that everybody's making." That was really, really dark.
Yeah. By the way, it was Silas. So it is ironic that Paul Silas died today as well.
Yeah. So. I am really glad that we got a mention of Willow's wife. And I guess that sort of, again, presses the point that she's no longer around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do like that he finally does magic.
Yeah, and I liked that whole effect that like like it was pulsing and it was in waves that was was coming off of that. Yeah, because I was starting to totally buy into Sorsha saying, "You know what? You're not a very good sorcerer.
Yeah.
You'll never be a great sorcerer." Well, it was like, yeah, he kind of doesn't do any sorcery, does he? but I get it. It's supposedly he has so much, and once he uses it all, then he can't use it anymore, or something to that effect. But that was a good moment, and I was glad for it. And then it was kind of cool that where it was that they ended up.
Yeah.
That they're at Bavmorda's, castle.
Yep.
So again, still like the show, but come on, guys,
Yeah, lighten it up a little.
Yeah, a couple of
lighten up and take it serious.
Yeah.
The other thing that threw me off was they do the big reveal of where they are, and then they go into the closing credits where they always have that really nice artwork.
Yeah.
And they play this horrible cover of Enter Sandman.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, that's really weird. Have they been doing stuff like that all season for the first 2 episodes?
Every episode has had a modern rock pop song at the end that has nothing to do with anything, as far as I can. And again, it's. I said, after I watched it, I said, "Wow, this show is not really completely sure of who its audience is."
Yeah,
it's trying to be many things to many people, and I've seen person after person online saying like, "Ugh, I really hated that horrible music at the end." And it's
but there might be a symbolism here. Hang on.
Okay, but I think what it is though, it's you know what, this is not a Marvel production, where you have some hip hop song at the end. This is a quote unquote medieval like fantasy thing, and even though the kids are all talking like it's 2022 2023, we don't need that stupid screeching stuff at the end of each episode.
Yeah, well, what they did was they took a song from 1991 and put a modern spin on it, and they're kind of taking a series or a movie from that era and doing a modern spin on it. So I can kind of guess.
I ain't for it, I'm again it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I guess they did the song "Guess Who's Back" for season 1 from the indie band The Beginner.
Yeah, and I get it. Guess who's back, or what? It's not necessarily the choice of the song and if the lyrics mean something or whatever. It's just it's the music itself. It just doesn't fit. It just really, really, doesn't fit, and it almost makes me want to just mute it at the end. But I'm always afraid I'm going to miss something. You know.
By the way, Jay agrees with us about dark fights. He says that's why the big battle in Game of Thrones the last season wasn't that great, too dark. I think a lot of things about the last season of Game of Thrones was not good, but he also agrees with you on tangents, which means there's a good chance there's going to be a graphic for it by Tuesday. So,
you know what? Once we're off the air, I'll give you my address for the check to be mailed to me.
Well, I am still liking the Willow series, but yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, they definitely need to. Maybe it was dark because they wanted to save money on the budget on the fight scene. I don't know. But hopefully we won't have that problem going forward.
No, it's totally that the director says, you know what, it's not 1954 anymore in with all this unnatural lighting, it's 2022.
We're out of time, but the 2 women in the middle of the forest, where the hell did they come from? And why is one of them such a badass with an axe?
Don't get me started on those 2. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. You know what? They better tell us that means something at some point, because that was just totally out of nowhere and kind of anachronistic for that too. It was like I was totally weirded out for him, and you know what? I'll go ahead and say it, like the stereotypical lesbian characters, right?
Yeah, they were so
strong, dominant one, and then the little one that doesn't say anything at all. I just recently rewatched The Sentinel from the 70s, and the exact 2 characters are in that movie. In the 70s, it was a cliche and a stereotype. We don't need it in 2022.
Mind you, it was nice seeing Hannah Waddington,
Okay, I guess I don't. I mean, I didn't know who she was. Which one was she?
the tall blonde with the battle axe.
Okay,
She's from Ted Lasso.
I think I heard that. You know what? I was somewhat amused by the manner her of speech, like the way she talked, and you know, and very well spoken or whatever. And that was slightly amusing. But other than that, it was like, what the hell was that? And
Yep.
why was it in there?
All right, we've got to end it here. We're over our hour. We'll see see you guys next week. Have a great week. Hope you're getting ready for Christmas. Talk to you soon.